I love it when I have a client, either a husband or a wife or whatever the dynamic is, and one of them just cannot see what I'm trying to say, like on a plan or even waving my hands in the house. And when I can put that on paper and do some 3Ds, and when I can walk them through it and then they have that, oh my goodness, yes, I love it. Those moments are huge. My goal was always to let them dictate their project. And I just kind of take out of their head and out of their habits and out of their family dynamics. We can make it work. I promise we can. If I ever have a client that just knows what they want and I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's just not going to work. I will still deliver. I'll give them an option that I tried to incorporate what you said. I think I translated it right. Here's how that looks. And I'm thinking, well, what if we do this here? And sometimes they contradict themselves and they get frustrated because they know they're contradicting themselves. And that's okay, because if they knew what they wanted and they knew how to do it, then they wouldn't reach out to us.
I call it removing the pronouns. Whenever I start typing an email and it's like, I did this because you said that. And it sounds so personal and like almost like an attack. Delete. And it's just like, well, the great room got bigger as a result of the request for having the dining room extend into this space or whatever. And now the square footage is bigger because of X, Y, and Z. And it's all totally focused on the plan instead of anybody's certain request or anybody said this or that or anybody had an opinion. None of that matters. It's all about what the result is on the floor plan.
Welcome to Not a Licensed Architect, the podcast for residential designers out there doing the real work without the license and sometimes without the credit. I'm your host, Stephanie Thatcher, and if you've ever felt like you should be licensed to be taken seriously, but you're still showing up every day designing real homes that real people actually live in, this is the show for you. Here, we get honest about the struggles, but even more importantly, we're talking about solutions, better floor plans, smarter business moves, and the confidence to finally own your role in the residential construction industry. So if you're ready to level up, lead your clients like the pro that you are, and finally own the fact that you don't need a license to design incredible homes, this is the podcast you've been looking for. Let's go.
Welcome to Not a Licensed Architect. I am your host, Stephanie Thatcher, and I am joined today by Jennie Lee Jones, and she is a fantastic, amazing, prolific designer based in Alabama. Am I correct?
Correct. Yes. Lincoln, Alabama.
And yes, I was looking at all the areas that you serve, and for a second, I saw No, I'm going to get it wrong. Anyway. I thought
we have an Asheville and an Ashland, about equidistance from where I am. Yep.
I was thinking it was North Carolina, and then I'm like, nope, she's Alabama. So Anyway, she's here today, and she has been doing design for decades. I'm going to let her tell us a little bit more about her background and what she brings to the table. I decided we're soul sisters, which, she apologized to me, but I think I have to apologize to her.
Oh, I'm crazy. Oh, I feel crazy. I'm excited about being on the show. This is so much fun. I listen to not all, but almost all of your podcasts, like just to get to know you.
So fun. Yeah, I've had amazing guests, and I do this because I love having these conversations with people, and I work kind of in a silo. And so it's nice for me to get outside of my own little world of just Stephanie philosophy and get outside perspectives that help me broaden my horizons a little bit. So I appreciate anybody who's willing to have a conversation with me, and hopefully I can improve the work that I do and the services I provide people, and that we can maybe help other people too. So I'm super excited to hear, when I was reading your about page on your website, it sounded so aligned with the philosophies that I have in my work. So maybe talk a little bit about what got you to this place. And you have a really cool story about working for Southern Living, right?
Yes.
Magazine. Yes. And so just talk about how you got here and what really drives your work philosophy.
So how I got here. So I was raised the child of a builder. His dad owned a lumber company. Yep. So I I can remember driving as a kid. We would be traveling, and I just always loved houses, and I would say,
Oh,
I wonder what that house looks like on the inside. So my dad created this game, and we always had a notebook in the car. And as we drove past houses, especially ones that we drove past a lot, I would draw, and I'd say, okay, this is what that house looks like on the inside. And he
oh
would go
my
back and he'd say, oh, no, no, look, if you look at that house, the front door's in the center, and you've got it over here. And so, I mean, I'm talking a young age,
It's like your
8
first
years old.
tutor, your first person like teaching you how to observe
Yes.
and oh my gosh,
And pay
that's so cool.
attention. It
Yeah.
was fun. So we did that forever. And then I was probably 14, 15, and my dad had a hardware store. And so I would go in the summer, my brother and I would have to go to work with my parents and we'd fold flyers for his construction company, and I would sketch and draw
So he
houses.
has
He
a
would,
hardware company and a construction company.
yes, he did.
Their entrepreneur spirit runs
Oh
really
yeah,
okay, got you.
very deep. Yeah, I never ever thought I would work for someone else. I mean, I really didn't. But then I went to school, and my original degrees were English and art. And my dad said, "Are you going to teach?" And it's like, "No, I hate kids. Why would I? No, no, I don't want to teach." So I thought, well, I'll go to work for National Geographic, and I'll photograph, and I'll travel the world, and I'll live in a loft apartment in New York, and all the things. And yeah, I ended up getting married and have 5 kids and live in Lincoln, Alabama. So never lived in a loft apartment, none of the cool stuff.
So much for not liking kids, right?
And I know I love them, and now we raise all the kids in the neighborhood. But so then I was in college, an internship came up in Southern Living, which I went to Montevallo, and Southern Living is in Birmingham, or at that point in time, it was in Birmingham on Lakeshore Drive. So it was like 35, 40 minutes away. So I did an internship there.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. I was not worthy, I'm telling you, but I thought I was hired on to write. But they looked at my resume, my little, 20-year-old resume, and the time I spent drawing for my dad's construction company in high school and in college. I was doing it then for extra money in
Because you
college.
were actually, by that time, you were actually drawing real floor plans that your dad was building.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Mhm. My
Okay.
mother picked up on the fact that, like, my dad would meet with clients, and he would do these horrible kitchen and bath layouts, and she he'd be like, "No, that's fine." He's old school. "No, that's fine. That's all
Your
you need in the
mom's like,
bathroom."
no, that's not good.
So my mother talked him into letting me meet with his clients. So, like, 16, 17 years old, I'm meeting with his clients and laying out different bathroom and kitchen designs for him. And he would pay me. I mean, I got paid. He would pay me to do stock plans, I guess is what you call it in this age.
How
Yeah,
fortunate. What
very.
a blessing that is, because so many people don't get that exposure and that direct feedback too from the builder at the same time, which is like education right there.
Oh yeah, built in with your dad, who you always want to make happy. You're super focused on picking up everything he says.
That's so cool. So you work for Southern Living and they hired you to actually work on their production plans?
Yeah, so we had a house plan. It was called the House Plans Magazine, and they had stock plans. So architects all and home designers all over the U.S., Bill Poole, Stephen Fuller, all the big names sold plans through our magazine. And so my job,
I remember
know.
that name totally. David Gardner. Did David Gardner?
Yes, Gardner had plans. Yes, all the legends. It was so much fun, and I learned from them because they sold plans through the magazine, and then people would buy the plans, and sometimes they just had little minor changes, or the builder on the job site would have made a change, and then you extrapolate it out, and the stairs weren't reaching the second floor or something like that. So I got to play and make slight revisions in-house, work through problems that the people were having on site.
Okay, we don't want to age ourselves here, but are you doing this by hand?
Yes. Oh goodness. Yes.
'Cause I mean,
I'll
like,
age myself.
I was learning by, hand drafting when I
Yeah.
was in high school and college, but I was right at the crux where it was just like starting to cross over into CAD.
Mhm.
So I was doing hand drafting and taking AutoCAD at the same time, each different classes and stuff, but I cannot even, so I've never experienced what it's like to actually draw a full set of plans that's
Oh.
actually built off of by hand. and then let alone making any sort of revisions. I don't even
You
know.
missed it. You missed it. It's so much fun. No, not at all.
What CAD program do you guys use now?
I use soft plan.
Hey, wait, why? Okay, I
Do
don't
you use soft plan?
that. Yeah. I use sharpen. So what year did you start using it?
2006. Well, 2005, 2006. I bought it first in 2005. And I really dabbled and was so frustrated because I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And so then I hired a guy, Daryl Galloway. And I don't know how long you've been with Soft Plan, but I paid him to come. And by that time, my dad was somewhat working for me, sort of, kind of in a way, but not really. So we bought software and he was drawing for me, with me, like doing some of the extra stuff. So I paid Daryl to come in and teach his classes in my office. So that was in
Nice.
2006 that Daryl came.
Well, you're super close to their headquarters, so he probably
Yeah.
way more willing. I mean, I don't know if he'd come to Utah, but I've been with Softplan since 1999.
Wow. So, wow.
Yeah, yeah, but that was just like here and there for the first little bit. And so I didn't even think about contacting anybody to like teach me. It was totally self-taught.
I'm impressed.
I was so grateful that I had had some CAD background, but
Mhm.
hey, I'm one of those, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't admit this, but I didn't love AutoCAD ever.
Mm.
AutoCAD really and we're talking the days of you had the like tablet, right?
Mhm. Uh-huh.
A little like target on it. So this is like pre-Windows. We just started using a mouse with the computer and different things like that. And so they were trying to figure out how to make their software work.
Tick over X and Y. Is that right? I kind of remember that.
It was rough for me. So when my father-in-law introduced me to SoftPlan, it was just game over for AutoCAD for me personally.
Hmm.
It just did the things exactly the way I wanted to.
Yeah, I love it.
Uh,
Still love it. Still
yeah.
love it. Still use it.
Yep. Okay. So that's awesome. So now by this point, you've stopped working for Southern Living magazine. You have your own business now. I mean, that didn't take long.
No, it didn't. I I don't know. I picked up a few little odd jobs, doing design work, like a kitchen remodel here and a kitchen remodel there, and then got married. I also was never going to be married. That's why you never say never. I was never going to be married. Got married. I don't know, and then I just had. I didn't like corporate America. I guess that's a fair thing to say. I didn't like the coffee pot politics.
That's not for everybody.
It is not.
Nothing
So.
wrong with that.
Mm-mm. But I don't. I look back. There were a few times through the years, when the crash happened, I was like, maybe I should go back and get a real job. That's what my mother-in-law used to call it. Are you going to get a real job? And I thought about it for a minute, and
Yeah, you got a real job. It's fun. The one thing I loved in your about page was you talked about how, the decades have gone by and it feels like hardly any time has passed because you love your job so much. Why you do what you do, the values that you bring to this are so aligned with the same values and core values that drive me and my business, the things that I like to solve. So talk about like the big problem that you solve, what you see in your work that really compels you to do the work that you do.
I love it when I have a client, either a husband or a wife or whatever the dynamic is, and one of them just cannot see what I'm trying to say, like on a plan or even waving my hands in the house. And when I can put that on paper and do some 3Ds, and when I can walk them through it, and then they have that, oh my goodness, yes, I love it. Those moments are huge. Or a situation where I have a client that says, we're just not going to be able to do this. We want to do so much. And there's no way we can, financially handle it right now. And I'm like, oh, wait, we can come up with a game plan and
Like
let's get
time
them.
out.
Yes, we've got
Figure it
this.
out. Yes.
My goal was always to let them dictate their project. And I just kind of take out of their head and out of their habits and out of their family dynamics and kind of try to call that together. And like, we can make it work. I promise we can. It may take, a 5-year plan. It may, who knows, it may take a rich uncle dying in order to get the money you need to make it happen. But we'll have a plan. So nothing that you do is having to be undone when you hit phase 2. Like, It's just a plan.
Right, right. Holistic design, that's what I call it.
Ooh, I like it. Can
Yeah.
borrow that?
I I mean, I like to bring in landscape designers. And the
Mhm,
other thing I liked that you described on your website is about how you offer that middle ground solution.
mhm,
Everybody needs or can use a fully licensed architect. And so
mhm.
here we go, we are not a licensed architect, yet it's more than just drafting services.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's that middle ground. And you said it so eloquent, so much more eloquently that I'm saying it here, but just where it fills that gap in the industry.
Mhm,
I love my industry so much, so I don't like to cast any stones anywhere, but I just want clarity in the industry,
mhm.
people to understand like what they're getting if they hire. So do you offer people, when you say you want people, you like your clients to kind of drive the design, because you've got all this experience, do you offer them solutions like that kind of contradict what they are coming to you saying that they want? Like, do you ever say, have you thought about this as a solution to this thing based on your experience, of 3 decades or whatever?
Mhm. Yeah, quit dating me there now. Simmer down. If they do the math, they'll
Oh,
know I
okay.
started at age 8.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which you practically did.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm right there with you. I've got pretty close to the same number of years. But yeah, tell us what that looks like, because you say you want this to be, a project that is really like showcases what the clients want and really
Mhm.
speaks to their needs and their goals. But how do you infuse that with, hey, I've been through this a time or two with other people. Let me help guide you.
And that's typically how I do it. Sometimes I'll do it in a very gentle fashion where I really deliver. And I had one builder say that I designed to ad nauseum, which I took as a complete compliment. Sort of. I was like, "Is that good?" He was like, "Oh, Jennie will design to ad nauseum." So I do try to like, let's just put it all out there, and then you tell me what you don't like, and that's an easy toss to the side. And if I ever have a client that just knows what they want, and I look at it, I'm like, "Oh, it's just not going to work." I will still deliver. I'll give them an option that, hey, this is. I tried to incorporate what you said. I think I translated it right. Here's how that looks. And I'm thinking, well, what if we do this here, and I'll do whatever you want, but this might be a nice, you know, alternative, or
A,
this might play well. And we have a,
or something that you hadn't considered.
yep. And sometimes they contradict themselves, and they get frustrated because they know they're contradicting themselves. They're like, we want an 800 square foot house, but we want 8 bedrooms, and so you're like, okay.
Yes.
So, and that's okay, because if they knew what they wanted and they knew how to do it, then they wouldn't reach out to us. So
Right.
I acknowledge it's
Yes, you offer a service that other people can't do for themselves. And
right.
hopefully you bring to it some level of expertise, and experience that they don't have otherwise.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, I say that all the time that, there's a reason why people are paying us to do the work. And it's not about being egotistical. We shouldn't just let them, kind of, I call it drive the bus. I try to
Right.
let them drive the bus too much, but at the same time, you still hold space for them to have their goals and their ideas. And then my clients will try to figure it out. Like, well,
Hmm.
like, okay, I want this, this, and this. And then we're trying to design it in real time. And I just finally am like, okay, time out. Like, we don't need to solve this right now because that's what you're
Hmm.
paying me for. And
Right.
you don't need to worry about that. Let me just take that burden off of your shoulders. I got you.
Perfect. I like that. I may use that too. Well, I try to find that happy balance, because, like, we just recently found a new accountant, but we've been through 3 before this, and my husband and I kept saying, because he owns his own business as well, I just want somebody. I think I know what I want, and I think I know how I want this to look,
Right.
but I ultimately am paying this person. If you see I'm doing something wrong, you wave the flag and correct me. And so I try to be that
Yes.
person. In the design world, I'm like, if I see something you'd go hit it off a cliff with, I'm going to say it. I'm going to be real
Yeah.
sweet about it. But
Yes. Well, I think, again, just like you said, hiring an accountant, that's what I expect in a doctor. Like, I don't go to the doctor and tell them like how to fix my ailment. I expect him to know more than me and for
Yes.
him to give me some good guidance.
Mhm.
And it's still up to me to listen, right?
And just like our clients, you are still in the background Googling, thinking that you can figure it out yourself.
Right?
So they're no different. They're like,
Yeah,
okay, we're gonna figure it out.
totally. Totally. What are some lessons that you've learned along the way? Can you have any like case studies or stories that you could share with our audience that like help transform you from the way that you do business then to now or whatever? What's been that transformation like?
I tell you what, every year, and this marks year 33, where I've been like by myself, not by myself, but like a real legit business. Every year I learn something. And sometimes it's two and three times a year. So what we have formulated is it's a questionnaire. I promise you, every year we're like, oh, add that to the questionnaire. Because
Right.
well, number one, I'm in my 50s and my memory isn't as good as it used to be. I need something to go back and look at. And then number two, it helps clients think through things that they may not even know to discuss. So the questionnaire, it hopefully addresses anything and everything that could come up. For example, I had a client 2 years ago. We went all the way through the design process. Now, he was very comfortable with building and he handed it off to his wife. He's like, just let her figure it out how it looks in 3D, walk her through it. We'll be good. I said, okay. Well,
Oh boy.
he got the foundation poured and then realized that his wife forgot to mention that I knew they lived on a farm, but that they both drove extra wide, extended cab, extended bed, all the things, trucks,
Ginormous truck.
huge trucks. And he calls and he's like, hey, why don't you make this a 24 by 24? I was like, it's kind of typical
Standard size fits
standard size.
cars.
I didn't know exactly what we were putting in there. So that got added to the questionnaire. So I try to take the burden on myself, by if I with the questionnaire and if they answer the questionnaire, hopefully I've eliminated a lot of the frustration later on. Hopefully. But I promise every year is a learning curve.
I know. So I have a story I want to share if you're okay with that.
Yes.
To that same exact thing. I've been designing homes that have like indoor sports courts, indoor gyms, whatever, for
Mhm.
years now. And it's not a big deal. And I just recently had a client who we designed one and we did all the things. And somewhere along the way, and I need to go back and listen to my recordings, but there was this miscommunication or we just weren't we weren't saying the same thing somehow because the same exact thing happened. They poured the foundation, they put the precast concrete panel floor down on the garage above the gym and
Mhm.
said, wait, we can't shoot a basketball in here. Like we can, just little baby ones, a point shot that's coming from way out. And I'm like, where did that breakdown in communication happen?
Right.
And so I felt like before that I had asked enough questions. And since then, and we're talking like in the last year. So now people say, I really like books or I collect children's toys or I like to sew. I always go one step further and like, so tell me more about that,
Mhm.
because if I might be thinking it's no big deal and you're thinking it's like a major part of your life. And a sports court, I might think that you're just down there working out. No, you're
Mhm.
inviting the basketball team over for, shoot around or whatever.
Mhm.
And they need to be able to make those long shots
Yeah.
and get that high arc on the ball, all the things. Like another crazy one was I had a client once who they were talking about, like they wanted this size of kitchen, blah, blah, blah. And then he mentioned something about how the husband, the dad, he's like, yeah, I make crepes for my family every weekend. And I'm like, oh, so this kitchen thing that you're talking about, I get it now.
Mhm.
One little statement, one little conversation can open your eyes to like what the clients are actually trying to say.
Mhm.
I feel like communication is such a critical role, is such a in
Mhm.
the whole design industry, and the process that we take our clients through, how
Mhm.
to communicate well, not just for extraction from our clients, but like how to communicate back to them as well.
Yes.
How do you handle that?
Yep, I have one right now that I'm working with an older client, and she has a home in a whole nother state that she's working on. She really, and she'll tell you, she's like, I'm not tech savvy. I'm not getting it. And so it's a burn job, and so there's a portion of the house that needs to go back on the existing foundation, and she's really having a hard time. She has this house in her head that she wants, and we can get it, but we're going to have to sacrifice the foundation if we do. And the builder's like, you can't sacrifice the foundation. We're going to go over budget. So I'm trying to, play the dance and meet her needs. And so forgot what the question was now. So you were talking about,
Communication.
not to mention I'm in my 50s.
Just how like what your communication process is like with your
Oh,
clients.
yeah. So I didn't want her to think I wasn't listening to her at all. So, I tried to get as close as I could to what she was asking. And before I sent the plans, like the precursor email to it was, okay, so I know that you said you wanted this, this, and this, but in order to do that, we will have to do this. But to save you money, we're gonna try it like this and see how you like it. Like I was trying to think ahead of what might frustrate her and address that. So at least, and she might still be frustrated because she can't have exactly what she wants, but at least if she knows I was listening and I
You
was
heard her.
paying attention, I heard you and I want to do it for you, but your builder said it's going to cost $80,000 just for us to do that one thing. And that's going to push you over budget. So trying to be proactive that's my goal. I'm not always successful, but I try really hard. And to ad nauseum, sometimes my husband's like, it was a yes or no question.
Oh, trust me.
Like
Oh,
that.
people will ask me questions and I'll get to it 20 minutes later.
Yes. Okay.
I do think it is okay. And I just think that when we're talking with our clients, it's not just like I said, it's not just us bullying them into something,
Mm-mm.
but it's exploring all the options and being okay. I had a client just recently who said, "Hey, so how many revisions do we get? Because in your contract it says this thing, and like, are we on track or whatever?" And it's funny because my contract does say a number, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it's just like, no, we're going to work until we get this right. And I know that there are a lot of designers out there who just don't operate that way.
Yeah.
And you said you design ad nauseum.
I do. I do. And
And
it's funny that you said that. I have a clause in my contract, and it says 3 major changes after the prelims have been accepted, and I have some people reach out and say, okay, so it says 3 if we want to make more. And in the background, I'm like, no, really, I'm going to design till you're happy.
yeah,
But there was this one case 12 years ago where I designed 873 variations.
and it took 4 years to get
Right.
fine, and that exhausts everybody.
Yes. But we're going to have a conversation before we get to that point. So and that opens the door for that conversation because I can cite back to we said, and we're kind of hitting that limit.
I love that you said that, though. We're going to have a conversation before we
Hmm.
get to that point,
Hmm.
or
Yep.
when we get to that point, or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had people who have been frustrated with their experience when designing with other people because they could sense the frustration of that designer,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they're not willing to have that conversation. And
Yeah.
so, how do you have those hard conversations?
I usually start off with something similar to, this isn't a fun conversation to have, but I'd rather have it now than before anybody's more frustrated. Or, and I think that comes with age too. You just get more comfortable, or, I just know after being as old as I am, not that I'm old, but I just know it's so much easier to say, hey, there's this pink elephant in the room, and it is, and let's
Yeah,
just figure out how to handle it. There's got to be a way we can make everybody happy. I don't know. I'm just not scared anymore. I think I used to be a
not
people pleaser.
scary.
I'm still a people pleaser, but
Yeah.
I I want to please everybody. But I think you can do both. You
I,
can talk and have that conversation, still be happy.
I personally think that the underlying key element here is that your primary goal is to create a solution for the client that they can't come to themselves.
Every time.
They can't do it themselves, and you are so passionate about them having a good experience
Hmm.
that you're willing to nip it in the bud,
Hmm.
right? For it blossoms into some big, huge, blown up, some ugly version of it, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have a hard conversation before it becomes, an all out battle.
Right. I don't want that. I like happy. I want them happy. I want great reviews. I want them to be talking with their friends and their friends are like, oh my gosh, I had the worst building experience ever. And I want to go, oh, really? Well, ours was great. That's what I
Yes.
want.
Yes. Okay. So to me, that brings up this whole concept. And I don't know, I haven't heard a lot of people in the industry saying this, but it's something that I'm getting more vocal about, where it's just like, we don't have the luxury of gaining a client for life.
Right.
Right? Because we don't have
Mhm.
to keep business all that often. Every now
Right.
and then we might have a client who comes and they're like, design me a house. Oh, and then I sold that house and I'm going to do it again. That's
Yep.
super rare. More common, you might have a client that comes along, design me a house. Oh, and now we have a vacation house or an outbuilding or, something like that. And then you get the chance to do a repeat with them, but it's so
Mhm.
rare. And so I
Mhm.
feel like we need to design in a way that we are over delivering or creating super satisfied clients so that they can create part of our word of mouth engine for us.
Mhm.
Just
Yep.
like you were saying, like your clients who are like, oh my gosh, I ran into some clients once and we were out at dinner and saw them. And I love being able to have such a good relationship with them that I smile and wave and say hi and super excited to see them. And I had clients once who were, I saw them out at dinner and they were like, oh my gosh, we were just telling our friends about working with you. And it was a good experience that made me
Mhm.
feel good. I was so happy for them that it wasn't a drag.
Yeah. Exactly. Because it
Nobody,
doesn't have to be.
it doesn't have to be.
It does not have to be. It can be fun. And I always tease and tell them that I offer marriage counseling on Thursdays because, everyone's, because I'm like, no, guys, this is fun. I
So
promise.
everybody's trying to schedule their appointment on Thursday. Right.
Yes.
So they can get that free marriage counseling service. I love it so much. I just think that there's so much value that you bring to the table by having a good client experience.
Mhm.
And I think that you're a light in the industry to shine on this and show people through your example of what it looks like to have a good client experience and have clients who are happy at the end of the whole
Mhm. Mhm.
process, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to talk to about that, what you do to have this good client experience? Because there is one more question I have for you.
Mm. I just communication. I mean, that is, I think even to have the uncomfortable conversations, it's okay. I mean, you're going to have uncomfortable conversations, it, but I just say get it out in the open, and it doesn't have to be terribly uncomfortable. I think the earlier you bring it up, the less uncomfortable
Totally.
it is.
I always start my design review feedback meetings and stuff with my clients by saying, look, this is not a personal thing. Anything you say, I will not take personally. So if you're that kind of person who worries about offending me, you can just take
Yes.
right off the table because
Hmm.
I'm here to like make sure that we're getting everything in your head extrapolated out and onto this
Hmm.
plan. And so you give me all the feedback, likes, dislikes, this is frustrating you, like ask all the
Yes.
questions, do all the things.
I think you do. You do very much like I do. I love that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's
It's
perfect.
like right from the start, like let's just get that out of the way. You do not have to worry about offending me whatsoever.
No, you cannot hurt my feelings. I tell mine, I'm married to a Marine. You cannot hurt my feelings. Try.
I dare you.
I've got
Besides,
it.
besides, we can go away from each other for a little while. So
That's
it's
right.
fine.
I'm only listening to you on email. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, so the way that I communicate with my clients if it is in written form, and even sometimes I've started to adopt this in the way that I speak with them too. Like I call it removing the pronouns. Like and it's so funny whenever I start typing an email and it's like you and me and that, like I'll just say like I was designing this so that you could have the da 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 da. And
Uh-huh.
it sounds so personal and like almost like an attack
Uh-huh.
sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Like I did this because you said that.
Right.
And
And you're like, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean that tone. I didn't have that tone.
and
But it comes
so
out that
then I
way.
like delete, delete, delete. And it's just like, well, the great room got bigger as a result of the request for having the dining room, extend into this space or whatever. And now the square footage is bigger because of X, Y, and Z. And it's all totally focused on the plan instead of anybody's certain request or anybody said this or that or anybody had an opinion,
Yep.
it's none of that matters. It's all about what the result is on the floor plan.
How did we get here? How did we get here? I love that. I never see like, you've taught me more today than
It's an interesting practice to really try to like dive into once you start paying attention to it and you realize how impactful that can be. And anyway, it's one of my favorite tools that I, just like you, discovered along the way. There's one other thing that you do too that you mention again on your website about maximizing the client's investment. Tell us a little bit about that as kind of like the last takeaway.
So a lot of that goes back to the master plans. We're probably half and half as far as new construction goes, new construction versus remodeling in our design work. So it shifts with the economy. Some years were really heavy new construction, some years were heavy remodeling. But my game plan is to come up within reason, the master plan, knowing that there might be some spaces that they finish out later, like over a garage or a flex space that right now they're going to use an office, but it's going to be a nursery. And so like thinking through the next 20 years.
Yeah, repurposing spaces
and thinking through that. And or I had a real fun one once where they were kind of my age-ish. The kids were away at college. They had the next round that was going to be going to college, but they were saying, this is where we're going to retire. So we don't want, we know we don't want this when the kids are gone. So we designed literally a house that once the kids were up and gone and married, we took in a bedroom and a part of a bath, and it ended up being their master suite after they finally knew that all the kids were off on their own.
To remodel into and like take over some of that space. So like actually that's kind of brilliant because that moves them from one phase of life into another with hopefully minimal trauma.
Right. This was not changing no walls moved. So everything was in place. Yes, everything was in place. But what became like what was a bedroom became we added some walls, but we didn't remove any walls.
What about plumbing? Did you have to move plumbing?
We didn't move plumbing. So we added closet space. I'm trying to think what else we did. A small office. I think we changed from, now I'm trying to remember because it's been a few years. One of the kids' bedrooms became her closet and her sewing room. It was like a combo closet / sewing room. And then, so I won't say plumbing moved, but doorways moved. And what was part of a hall closet became her bath. So after the kids moved out, it was a shared hall, like hall bath, not hall bath, hall bath. And so then we closed off the hall access and punched through from her closet / sewing room. So it was almost like they had a his and hers master suite with it. Yes, within the same, but they shared the same bedroom. So
yes, I love that so much. See, that's the advantage of working with a pro, somebody who can see the vision and knows how to like make like you said, a master plan that transforms from this time in life to that time in life, these needs to that needs, and converting it. Oh, I could talk about that for, but anyway, that's so cool. I would love to see that plan sometime.
I'll send it to you. It's a good one.
Oh,
and that's something we're learning too with layers with soft plan. I've loved what they've done in the last few years, so that you can toggle building layers on and off. So you have building layer 1, which is now, building layer 2, which is then. That has been awesome.
Yes. Yeah. I work for a production builder, so we use building options, like third car garage edition and dinette bump out. We used it for all of those things. So it is pretty nice I use it all the time with my clients to show, okay, here's like your country farmhouse roof option versus the prairie style roof design,
Yeah.
So we can see the difference there.
I love it.
That's so fun. Oh my gosh. I feel like we could keep talking forever, but
I This is fun.
We'll have to do this again another time and
I
talk
would
about
love to.
this. Well, tell people where they can find you, because we
So,
didn't talk about like you have like a membership and design kits and
yes.
different things like that.
Yeah.
Let's do
We have design kits, so because we can work with people all over the U.S., especially with master bath or bathroom or kitchen remodels or basement build outs, things like that. We have kits that you get the kit for free. You just, you write in, let us know you're interested. We send the kit, and then if you decide to go with the program, then you send the kit back. We walk you through how to do the measurements, how to take the photographs. So we have everything we need to design, and then we can complete the plan and send it back to you. So it's a
Yeah.
pretty neat little process.
Now I'm super curious. I didn't dig into it because I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know it was that. I'm like, what is a kit? How do you get a kit for free and then it goes back and you do the work?
Yep. So a kit, so it's a packet of information that walks you through the process of how do I measure my house? How do I photograph my house? What do I want to do? You answer the questionnaire. What are your goals? Your short-term goals, your long-term goals. So
I
so
got
that's the design part. And then we've worked on a blog. My brain goes in so many directions. So we've worked on a blog. Yeah, I know. That's soul sister, soul sister.
us coming full circle here.
Oh,
Yeah. So what
so
about the home design and build course? That's like a membership from what I can gather, right?
yes, and the goal there is someone that is going to build a house. We kind of handhold you through the process. We have a lot of people here. I don't know if you do there that want to be their own GC,
Yeah.
but they're really not comfortable being their own GC.
They don't know.
So yeah, but they don't know that they shouldn't be their own GC. So this is kind of more of an administrative position where we'll oversight. And in that, we also can help people figure out. I do have a lot of people, you probably do too, that come and say, we want to do this, this, and this to the house, but we're really just not sure if we're going to get, the bang for our buck, because we plan on retiring here, but my husband may get transferred. And so we'll do like a cost analysis, in the area, other houses that have done the same so all of that's kind of incorporated into anything it's basically an admin
Okay.
assistance.
Yeah, and a little bit of like a coaching program, like a way for
Yeah.
you can come ask questions from a professional and for a really good deal. It's a really
I,
good deal.
well, I feel like if I can help someone, it's not going to take that much time. It's usually a phone call. I mean, really and truly, walk them through. It's okay. Even if I have to make a phone call for them just to communicate. Sometimes they can't communicate with the builder because I don't know what he's saying. Let me ask.
For sure. Yeah, totally. I think that is so beautiful that you've put together these resources for people to help them, So no, I love that because I do think that we all want to make this whole experience, like we said, a little bit more enjoyable. And there's just so many ways to help people. I love the things that you put together. So where can they find all the good stuff?
All the good stuff is www.jljstudios.com. JLJ for Jennie Lee Jones. And then you can also find us at jennieleedesigns.com. It goes to the same place.
Okay. And then it looks like you're on Instagram, Facebook.
Yes.
House, right?
All the things. And I'm not as good as I should be at posting. I'm trying to get better. It is. I'm not going to say I'm not techie enough. I'm just not diligent enough.
It just takes time. That's all. Give us all. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today, Jennie.
Thank you.
So fun. And we'll have to do this again another time.
I'd love that. Thank you for the invite. Take care.
Perfect. Take care.
Thanks for hanging out with me on Not a Licensed Architect. If you're ready to stop second guessing yourself and start owning your place in this industry, make sure to follow the show and share it with another designer who needs to hear it too. And if you want more real strategies and floor plan tips you can actually use, head on over to dostudios.co for more courses and resources to supercharge your residential design career. Remember, you don't need a license to design a home or a life you're proud of. Thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you next time.